I said, for me, success would be if I left an organization or I got hit by a bus or whatever, somebody would remember, like, oh, she made an impact. Like, she helped build this. This is something that she leaves behind. And I think leaving the department, the program, whatever, better than you found it, to me, that's success.
That's Amber Welch, the digital marketing pioneer of New Orleans. And this is People of Healthcare Marketing, the show where I sit down with healthcare marketers to find out what it's really like to run a marathon mile in their shoes, with ankle weights and mandatory checkpoints. That means no shop talk, just real talk about the life behind the job. Amber, thank you so much for being here. This is a show where me, a B2B SaaS marketer by trade, is trying to explore what it's like to be a healthcare marketer, because the stakes are higher and there's a lot less wiggle room on what you can do. And instead of talking about the KPIs and the campaigns, I want to understand what it's like to walk a mile in your shoes. So to do that, let's start from the beginning. How did you end up here in that chair? How did you end up in healthcare marketing?
So I, as a little girl, wanted to be a writer. So I liked writing. That was always kind of something I gravitated toward and was good at in school. And then I got an English degree, hoping to go into journalism. So I have a journalism background. I have my master's degree in journalism and started in the news, working for the Times-Picayune, which you're probably familiar with from your time in New Orleans. Worked in the newsroom, felt that out a little bit, decided like that really, the beat reporting really wasn't like what I wanted long term. It was fun for a time, especially in New Orleans, a lot of good stories. But then moved on. I wanted to go into magazine publications and lifestyle. So did that for a little bit, worked for Time Inc. and loved it. But wanted to get back to New Orleans because that's just where I wanted to live and be. And freelanced for a bit and then found the job at Auctioner in internal communications, actually, which was a lot of writing, content creation, but also working on the intranet. And I didn't even go into that job thinking I was going to be a healthcare marketer. I thought I would do writing and more content for the health company, for the organization. And as I started working more on the intranet, I got really, I had some background in working on websites. I had worked on the websites for Time Inc. And I really wanted to do more with the patient-facing website. I saw there was a lot of opportunities. And so I kind of pitched a position. What if I was the manager of digital marketing? And they took it. I kind of sold a vision. This is what I could do. We didn't really have a dedicated social media program at the time. We had one freelance person who kind of spent 4 hours a week, doing posts. So I really built the digital marketing program from the ground up. And it was just really came out of what were my passion areas, like what I was interested in doing, where I saw, man, this website's pretty bad. Like we could do a lot here. And so it started like kind of program by program, project by project. And then we had a marketing team, but it was a very traditional healthcare, really kind of client management, working with the service line, order taking. We did, mass media campaigns and billboards and traditional, but digital was not, it was kind of in the background and afterthought. You got to have it, but it's not really important. And I had one other woman on my team, Catherine, who's still there. And we really kind of had more of a vision and saw opportunity and ran with it. And so 14 years later, we have a very robust digital marketing program. I also oversee marketing programs now, like the traditional, the client relationship facing. And so, when you're in an organization, there's a big one that grows, you have opportunity to grow as well, and your scope can grow. So that's kind of how I ended up where I am.
When you look,
long story short.
Lots of ambition there, lots of doing. Not a lot of people are able to see things that need to be done, that could be done, but few people do what you do of speaking up and seeing the opportunity and saying, hey, we should be doing this. What was it like to, was it easy to, you basically pitched your own position, but even once you were in that position, were there people who got what you wanted to do wrong, and what was that like?
So there were challenges. I mean, there's still challenges with certain things. But I think, originally saying we need to build a new website, well, that costs a lot of money. So I had to, pitch that, but we were able to say, hey, well, if we do this much of it on our own, and that first website update, I think it was from 2013 to 2014. We did work with a vendor and we paid money, but it was on a budget. And Catherine and I reviewed all of the content on that, going from one CMS to the next. I worked many late nights. I didn't have kids yet, so I could, but we put in the time and it paid off. And then once they saw the success of that, they were more willing to make investments, I think.
So what you're saying is your team today is standing on your shoulders of that hard work.
I'm not going to say that. No,
it seems like it, because you put in the work for them to be able to do their work, to be able to do something meaningful, right? Like, because it's not selling, something that someone doesn't need. It's helping people find something that's going to benefit their lives, literally. Which makes me wonder if you could rename or retitle yourself to better reflect what you actually do, what would it be? And you can have fun here. Like, don't be serious. Like, obviously, it's not going to be the thing you'd put on a resume or LinkedIn, but what would you call yourself?
My longevity and background is really more the digital piece. I really love overseeing the MarTech stack. I like learning about new software, new vendors, what they can do. I love learning from them. I've played with the idea of chief digital marketing officer. I'm still a VP. I'm not that, but in my own aspirations, that's what I would like to be. I saw yesterday chief digital engagement officer, which I really like. I think that covers a lot, right? Because I oversee content strategy, but I also oversee the technology and the transaction. Mm-hmm. So engagement can be both, right? So engagement not being that fun. I'm just kind of being boring, I guess, but I like digital engagement.
Oh, me too. I tend to use engagement as like the thing that when I'm talking about my skills of what I do, it's like transactions, conversions matter. I mean, that's marketing. It's what we're here for. But without engagement, you never get to that. And so I always lead with that too, because it's the thing that without it, you're not going to get the results that you need. Speaking of titles and things, you're at a party in New Orleans, not an industry party. And someone asks, what do you do for a living? How do you respond? Like, obviously you're titled, but then when they want to know, how do you do what you do?
And I usually never say my title. I just say, I work in marketing at Auctioner Health. And in New Orleans, everybody knows Auctioner. We're the big health system, in the state. But I don't, I'm VP of digital platforms. I have a joke. I have a friend that's a doctor, and she's like, well, you just do social media, right? You still don't know what I do you?
No.
So, and then if they ask, I oversee our website, our social media channels. For most people, they don't know online reputation management. But if we get to talking, I'll say, when you click on Google and there's a listing, you want to find the nearest Rouses near you. I manage those for Auctioner, so we're discoverable. And then just the traditional marketing relationships as well, which I think people understand that a little more, in an agency model. I think more people are used to that. It's just has a longer history, I think.
Yeah. So you said you've been doing this for over 15 years. What does success look like today, and has that changed, and how?
Specifically for the marketing role, I think,
for you.
For me.
What makes you feel like you are doing a good job? Yes, hitting your marks, hitting your, getting the results, the KPIs, the goals, but at the end of the day, what really makes you go home and feel like you've accomplished something?
When other partner or other systems in the industry or colleagues recognize us or acknowledge, you run the Auctioner website. That's a great site. When Also, I really thrive. I lead a big team. I thrive when they're thriving. So like when they're having successful moments and they get wins, or they're thanking me for helping them with something, that makes me feel like I'm successful.
Do you remember a specific time that you really like were surprised by how you were helping someone? Whether it's a team, someone on your team, or even a partner, like you said, maybe even a patient.
Yeah, I mean, I recently someone got a promotion and she wrote me a really really nice note, just an email, and it meant so much to me. And she said, "I really appreciate you having my back. Kind of putting your money where your mouth is. I'd been told I was going to get this from other leadership for a long time, and you're the one that actually like made it happen, and you believed in me. I'm like, thank you for that."
If these chairs weren't so far apart, I'd be giving you a high five. So we'll just do it like that.
But that's important to me, and I'm working with a coach right now from leadership coaching. He's a great guy, and I said for me, success would be if I left an organization or I got hit by a bus or whatever, somebody would remember like, oh, she made an impact, like she helped build this, or this is something that she leaves behind. And I think leaving the department, the program, whatever, better than you found it and in a better place. To me, that's success.
What's something that you wish either leadership, stakeholders, people who are siloed or removed from marketing at Ochsner, what do you wish that they understood better about your work?
That things cost money. I think in the web world, we always joke, there's no easy button. Oh, well, just do that. Just build that. Just, like these things take time. They take skills. I think also though, I know you don't want to talk about ROI and KPIs and all that, but I think in healthcare, there's still a lot of the traditional like stigma, like we need a billboard. I want to see my face on a billboard. And like, you can't measure a billboard. So they're great for brand awareness, but they're really expensive and that's not needed. Like we can drive more people to you and fill your slots through digital tactics.
Mm-hmm.
I think understanding that, I don't think everyone's quite there yet. And that is a challenge of like always having to explain it. I do feel like I say to my team like, oh, it's Groundhog Day, because we're going in again and we're explaining it again. But that's what you have to do. And I also have to remember this isn't their world, right? Like I don't know how to do these extremely crazy surgeries.
Yeah.
I'm not, a medical professional, so I'm not going to question what they do. But sometimes I think it's, just having to repeat the different things, the different channels, but also explaining why maybe certain things that they think might be good are not always the best kind of path for what they want to do to drive success.
What's something that you personally have accomplished, but no one ever clapped for?
I started our online reputation management program from the ground up. Worked with the vendor, got all the data aligned. No one ever really acknowledged that.
That's a lot of work.
It's kind of like, it's not the sexiest work.
No. It's a lot of grunt work. It's a lot of.
And I did it at the time I was a leader. I think I was a director level. We didn't have capacity to do it. And I didn't want to put it on my team. I was at a very small team at the time. So I just did it myself. And I worked a lot. I worked late.
Having done that before, I know how much work goes into it. So.
Yeah, that one's not like glamorous.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of overhauls of the website, and that also, I always try to make it, my team works really hard on it. So I always try to make a big splash. We'll do like a celebration, a little party or something, but no one ever thanks me.
Well, I think that's like a common thing though, like at your level, like
servant leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's okay.
What's a profound lesson that healthcare marketing specifically has taught you about yourself?
It has helped me become more patient. I am a fast mover. I like to get things done. But in healthcare, there is a lot of red tape. There's a lot of different parties that need to be involved between data privacy, clinical systems, provider input. So it's definitely taught me, I'd say, to be more patient. I tend to have an opinion and speak up. It's taught me how to like sit back and like read the room and observe a little more and wait until I have something to say and really think about what I'm going to say.
It's like picking your battles and all of that and figuring out strategically when to.
And sometimes you don't always have to say something.
Mm-hmm. Unless it's creating your own position.
Yeah.
Pointing out, hey, we need a better website.
And I will do that, but I think it's taught me pick your battles.
True. What's one thing in healthcare marketing that you hope changes over the next 5 years?
I hope that we get better data systems for a couple of things, to really truly understand and have line of sight to access. I know across every system, so the whole country, access is an issue. So I think as marketers being able, and Oxford's done a really good job of this, but we still have work. We need really all to have master databases where we can understand the access on the provider side. So the internal operational, like how are the schedules being filled out? Are they really at capacity? If they're not, why? We don't always have line of sight to that. But on the other side is a true master database where we can understand, are you a patient and a caregiver and a donor and maybe a provider and maybe an employee? Are you all those? Who are you to us? So like we tend to, we'll target to the patient.
Yeah.
But do we know, what else do we know about this patient? Do they donate to us? Do they like to get involved in an event? Do they have a family member, like whether it's a child or an elderly person that they're also a caregiver for? We don't know the holistic view.
The story, yeah.
So I think getting better, the data is gold. Like that is going to be, to me, that's like the next 5 years. We have to get good at having like a true line of sight into like what every customer is, patient.
There's a lot of passion behind that answer. Why? Like, what's the outcome when you have that? Say, like, boom, you have that access.
So for marketing, it allows us to do a better job marketing to them. But I think it also, as a system, allows us to give them a better experience where they feel like we know you, we care about you, we're here for you. And like in healthcare, I think that's why a lot of us stay in healthcare. There is a passion behind it because you truly feel like you are helping people.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not doing the surgeries and I'm not doing the chronic disease management, but I'm a part of helping people get access to care, which we know in this country is not the best. And so, and then I'm also, I think is giving me a great perspective. I'm in a very unhealthy state. Louisiana, Mississippi are toggling for that 50th unhealthiest state every single year. I'm being from California, which is a much more healthy state, it's really given me a different perspective on the entire country is not set up like California in certain ways, financially or with healthcare, the education. And so like, how do we solve for that?
So having access to that data, the full like scope of data, you're able to sift through, find patterns that help you in Ochsner deliver better care.
And get better. And even like we have patient experience data, we have online sentiment data, that helps. I don't think we're looking at it enough. We have it and I do feed it to them, but it's hard to read every single review and see what happened and what went wrong. I mean, we have a great patient experience and service recovery team, but some things always slip through. If we had more and then ways that to easily access it and interpret it. That's the other thing. Like you need people power. I mean, we have AI now, but it's not quite there yet. Someone has to interpret the data and bring the findings. Like
tell the stories and help people. Because the story that is extracted from the data is what leads to action. And so getting the stories, get all the work. So having access to the data is the first step. Essentially.
And then from there, can we build automated marketing processes like trigger campaigns, but more than that? Or can we build out in-person better experiences from when they walk in the door?
That's awesome. Knowing that you're there. So my parents are on Ochsner, so because they're still in New Orleans. So knowing someone like you is there caring makes my day. So before we wrap, just a few easy, fun questions. If healthcare marketing were a reality TV show, what would it be like if you had to like compare it to another existing one, or if you wanted to make it up? And then who would the characters be?
So I wish I could say Housewives because that's my favorite reality show. Um, I think, I mean, I don't watch like a ton of reality. Really, just the Real Housewives is my main one. But I would say something like it'd probably be like Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I think, or one, yeah, almost like Survivor kind of, but that's a little too outdoorsy. But like Shark Tank, where like everybody's pitching for something and like trying to get something new and vying for budget and people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's constant. So I'd say Shark Tank.
That's very
It
apt.
can be a little rough, you know? Like,
yeah.
And then I don't watch a lot of Shark Tank, but like I know the concept, like the investors, like, so on like the C-suite side and the physician side, they can be a tough audience too. Like they're hard to sell.
You gotta sell it to them.
And our board, that's a tough audience. So yeah, I'd say Shark Tank.
I'm going to end on this. What makes it worth it to you, the work? Why do you show up every day?
Two things. So I actually really like the work. I love adding something to the website and making it more functional and easier to use, improving UX and UI. I really do like seeing that come to fruition. It's like just a passion. But second, and probably first, is the people I work with. I have a really great team. They really care. There's so much talent among them, and they're what like keep me there and motivate me.
Well, Amber, I want to thank you. You've given me a whole wide perspective on what it's like to walk a mile in your shoes, and it's a lot. And so thank you for your time. Thank you for your candid answers.
Thanks for having me. I'm very honored to be here.
For Amber, a career in healthcare marketing is defined by seeing what others cannot, building things that will outlast her, and believing better data leads to better patient outcomes and care access. And that's the unspoken truth here. Because behind every compliance checklist and cautious claim are people. People who believe in what medicine can do. People who found meaning in the margins. I'm your host, Ronnie Higgins, and this is People of Healthcare Marketing.